Hey everyone, just a little bit of context before we start this episode. I brought on GildedGuy and Oxob to talk about GildedGuy's newest animation, GildedGuy vs. Oxob. That was a sentence. We mainly discuss the animation, so if you haven't seen it yet, check it out in the description or in the iCard right up there. If you want more context before this episode, check out the rest of GildedGuy's animations and watch Oxob's animations as well. With that being said, enjoy the podcast. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that one was good.
Hope so.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Animacast.
Hey.
I'm here with GildedGuy and Oxob to talk about GildedGuy's newest animation, GildedGuy vs. Oxob.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, this animation is just... It's first of all, incredible job,
Oh, thank you.
as I think it's your best yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
would
think
agree.
a ton went into it, and I think more than any of my other animations, it was like a lot more people involved in the making of it. So I think
Oh,
their,
yeah, I
their work
noticed.
kind of shows through.
Yeah, you got like several other animators involved too, like Sugar Ratio, Oxob himself did a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that like? Getting like
So
did Oxob did Oxob do anything besides the stick fight at the end? Or was that it?
That
think-
was it.
yeah, that was it. That's why I kind of
Alright.
credited it as like a guest animation spot. So
Yeah.
Sugar Ratio was a bit more involved with the actual other scenes in the animation. So from the start, I was planning on this animation to be kind of like a team effort. So I did have the cleanup crew. That's Irosaur, Soapy, Boxcat, helping with the inking. That's like coloring the lines in the cleanup. But then like halfway through, I think Sugar Ratio offered his animation services, so he started doing in-betweens.
Oh.
Mhm.
So did he do entire segments on his own, or did you just give him kind of like a guideline and then he filled it out?
So I haven't like worked in like big team size pipelines for animation before, so I don't know all the exact terms. I bet Oxob would know more about the terms since you do work with Alan, right?
Yeah, but it's a bit different when it's only 2D stick figure animation.
Mm-hmm,
Like we
right.
don't do storyboards and stuff like that. We just do like we call them animatics, but it's like the main poses, and then we have in-betweeners that fill in what's in between.
Yeah, I think I did a similar thing here with Sugar Ratio where I try to be as descriptive as possible with like a storyboard, and then I would also put in key poses, almost drawing out the key animation. And
Okay.
Sugar Ratio could then infer the in-betweens and add his like smooth lines and animation and make it nice and fluid.
Yeah,
Okay. All
that's a
right.
very normal process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I figured, but it's a little hard to tell what's going behind the scenes sometimes.
Well, you know what
I
was
think that's
helpful was sometimes I watch Oxob doing his freelance work with Alan, and I notice all those directions that Alan leaves on this on the
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
storyboards,
I've seen some of that. It's absurd.
and I was like, wow, this is
It's
pretty
heavy.
detailed. Yeah.
And there
So-
can be like a wall of text and I still get it wrong, so I have to like go back and make revisions on all those things before I can send it off to the in-betweeners.
I know this is a little off topic, but when did you start working for Alan Becker? Like, did he come to you or did you come to him?
Well, he came to me, but first he made a post on Hyun's dojo that he wanted people to help him
Oh, right.
with the what are it called, stick texting, if you remember those. It was for a
That
mobile
long
app.
ago?
Yeah, and so I started doing
Yeah.
some of those, but then I kind of stopped, and maybe a year after he came back to me and said he was gonna make Animation versus YouTube and he needed animators. And that was the first one I worked on.
That was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Damn. Okay. I didn't know you were working for him for as far back as that stick texting thing.
Yeah, but that was like at the end of that period, I think.
Damn. All right. If we can go back to the other animation, you were on a hustle, Gilded Guy. What was your daily routine like? Because you streamed pretty much every day except for I don't know, give or take 2 days.
Well, it may seem that way, but I do like take my break days every week, and I think my philosophy for like this animation was to try to stream the whole process rather than like holding anything back. I think that was something Oxob was pretty aware of. Like,
Yeah.
whenever a spoiler was about to pop up, everybody in chat would spam like, spoiler incoming, leave if you care about, like
Yeah. I
the
tried
final
to
experience.
I really tried to not spoil the main parts for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't
So-
seen anything of the climax really.
Yeah, and I think that was
That
a
was
very
the best part.
disciplined and good decision on your part. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I did that.
Oh yeah, because then it's far more rewarding.
Yeah.
Mm. So
All right.
yeah, on the previous animation, like I think typically it would be like I would stream maybe like 80% of it, and then the last 20% the climax, like the twists, I'd try to keep behind the scenes. But that would be like maybe 2 months of work that I'm just kind of disappeared, like from being online. So there's like
Okay.
Oh,
no
wow.
streams going on, and then suddenly I drop a trailer, and then everybody's hype again. For this one, I just try to keep the
Alright.
tension and just stream the whole way through. So
But
that's why I
so-
guess it seemed like there was a lot of work going on, right? Like constantly.
So when you went offline, you weren't even on Discord or anything?
Well, I would still, pop into Discord and stuff, but when you're used to seeing a streamer stream like almost
Yeah.
semi-daily, and then they're gone for like 8 weeks,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like, they're gone. So I didn't want
Yeah.
that to happen with this one.
Okay. Yeah. The premiere stream on Twitch, I feel like did it exceed your expectations?
Yeah. Within like the first minute, my expectations were like, oh, okay. I was
you
like,
normally get like 100 viewers, and then you got like tenfold during that one stream.
yeah, it was insane. I'm still trying to sort out like all the factors that like cause that to happen. Could be, the quarantine, could be just, natural growth in audience size, could be the fact that Oxob is being featured, so it's like a stick fight. I don't know. But I was like expecting like maybe like 500 viewers, like max. And within 1 minute,
Right.
it was like 900. So that animate sponsorship as well, like probably had to do with it. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there.
Oh yeah.
I think you had been
Yeah.
quite well advertised as well on social networks.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have like a pretty strong community as well.
Yeah.
That seems pretty loyal.
Oh yeah.
That's it's like JonTron in a way, because he uploads like he uploads a little more frequently than you, but he still uploads pretty rarely, and he's obtained this large community that will come back even after like an 11-month hiatus.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I feel like maybe some of it's kind of that is whenever one of your animations gets released, especially if each one of them takes a little bit longer, like it's just it becomes an event.
I think making an event out of it too is pretty fun. Like I think
Oh yeah.
more almost like similar to like making sure the animation is good. It's also making sure people are looking forward to something. I think that's just something we all kind of crave in online content. Is just the anticipation actually is something
Right.
that's valuable to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So
premiere
going back,
reminded me a lot of 4-Day.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Mhm.
I I wasn't. I don't think I was like following 4-Day like when it was announced and like the day of. I remember seeing the animations like a couple weeks afterwards, but
Yeah.
I wasn't around for like the actual like anticipation and build up. Like, so I'm not sure exactly how that was like.
Yeah, well, it was just like a schedule of when they were going to be uploaded. So we were all just like camping the computers and hanging out on XChat that we
oh,
used back then.
Extra.
Yeah.
yeah, I've never heard of that.
4-Day?
No.
Well, you know Shock 3, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the animations released on 4-Day
Oh.
back in 2010.
10 years
Huh.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even online then. All right. Well then, going back to your average day, did you just treat the streams like just a normal like maybe 9 to 5 job?
Mm, Perhaps. I try to like. Well, animation is not exactly like a 9 to 5 job because uh,
Oh yeah.
the as you guys probably know, the strain and the just the work, like the thinking and like the actual labor of it can take a lot more toll on you than just like typing or doing regular data entry kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for me,
Mhm.
I can only do a max of like 4 hours of straight animation a day before I just start burning out. And so
All right.
it's not a typical 9 to 5 hours. So I'd say it's more compressed work.
For me,
Okay.
it really depends on what I'm animating. Like
That
when,
too, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if I'm
It depends
making
on
an,
how like inspired you are in the moment.
yeah, but also if I'm making like an explosion, I can like all of a sudden it's been 8 hours past and I'm like, wait, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, when I do like animatics for Alan, it's been like 1 hour. I'm like, I haven't gotten anywhere.
Yeah, I think how much creative effort like you're putting into it also affects how drained you get.
Yeah,
So
Oh yeah.
the hours fluctuate wildly, and I'm sure like if you guys are watching my stream, sometimes I'll end it early, sometimes I'll just go overtime and just be working till 2 a.m. It's very dependent on like the flow and like
yeah.
what you're working on. So I think that's just part of art
Mhm.
as a practice.
Yeah. Um. I I kind of want to take it back to the beginning. How did you two agree to this band? Was this like an RHG, a dojo duel? What was this? Like, how
Oh,
did this start?
let me think.
I actually
Well,
don't know.
Oxob was surprised as everyone else when I revealed his character was going to be next at the end
Yeah,
of the cowboy animation.
yeah.
So at the end of the cowboy animation, I had like GildedGuy, walking in the fields, and then you see that iconic electric glove, and then a little spark of electricity just to confirm that it was Oxob.
Yeah.
And
Like
uh,
I think I'd only like mentioned that I thought it would be cool that if a Gilded Guy fought Oxob, and I had also made a
Oh,
fan art of that and been like, hey, this would be cool, wouldn't it?
yeah, so that was helpful knowing that you would be okay with it because some people are a little bit protective of their OCs, and
Yeah.
they don't want anybody kind of touching it. But I'm glad that Ogzob was happy. Uh,
Then I'm glad I made that art.
That's interesting.
mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting to know that it was more like of a surprise rather than just like a confirmation beforehand, like getting permission to use the character.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn, that's
Uh,
interesting. Okay. um, sorry, let me just collect myself. The song choice I thought was interesting for this one. Like, what's the process behind finding your songs?
it's changed over the years. Just based on how popular I get, and the amount of, like, I guess, clout that you have with a following. I think musicians kind of detect that, and that really determines how much they're willing to let you use music. So early on, I think back in like kind of those Wild West Flash days where everything was like Swift upload instead of MP4, there was
Hmm.
like no song detection like software for Swifts. So you could kind of slide by using copyrighted music,
Yeah.
and that
Mm-hmm.
gave artists a lot of creative freedom in that respect, because you didn't have YouTube copyright detection like breathing over your neck over your song choice decisions. So there was not really too much of a song choice process back then. I just picked songs that I liked. uh, I think that's what we all did early on, where
Yeah.
it
It
was just
wasn't
like complete
really.
freedom.
Yeah. It wasn't really an issue on YouTube either in the beginning.
Yeah.
That
uh,
came like after a few years.
yeah, and then we started to have to be a bit more selective
Yeah.
because of that copyright detection. But
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought about like trying to monetize my YouTube videos because of that. So I just kind of take the copyright detection hit, just let the artist have their money, like the complete ad revenue from the animation, and that's just been my policy up until this animation. So all the previous stories, 1 through 5, are monetized by a record label.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, and I'm okay with it. I think that's a fair trade. I'm using their creative product, and they get the revenue from that, and I get to make something that I feel is like my favorite song. But with this one,
Interesting.
Okay.
I contacted Sarkadian directly, and he was like almost immediately okay with me using his track Alien Victory, and I shared it with Oxob the moment I got permission, and wanted to see what he thought about it.
Yeah. And I
And
liked it.
yeah, he was cool with it too. So I think the song was requested on my stream, and I immediately saved it to my like potential animation music playlist. So I just like the drops in it, and it's a very uplifting song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it kind of fit with the kind of electro feel of the track.
That too, yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
80s feel of it. I love it.
I think the genre is called synth wave.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right, so a little obviously later in the animation, it becomes a little anime,
Just a
right?
little, yeah.
Just a little bit. I noticed a little bit of JoJo in there, maybe a few others, but like, what were some of the main inspirations for shifting off into a different kind of fighting style?
Um, well, I think I'm trying to remember if that was like a deliberate decision from the beginning, or if I just like in the spur of the moment I was like, screw it, we're like I just want to animate like something cool. It might have been a mix of the two. I, I with these animations I do like plot out the events like ahead of time, and at that point, after Ogzob uh, gets up and like sheds all of his bracers and like those like corrupted bits. I did want to make it like a what you would call an explosive finish. Uh,
Yeah, that's accurate.
so it's like it's almost like I need to. I basically put guardrails. I said like, okay, at this point in the animation, you just need to make it as cool and try to push your animation skills as much as you can and make it amazing. That was pretty much the storyboard for that part, that whole final quarter of the animation was was just to make it feel like a celebration rather than like them fighting throughout the first half of the animation. This part of the animation is supposed to be like a celebration of fighting. So
It really felt that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was, yeah.
so it was like that. If that was my director self telling my animator self hears that and says, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna just animate something that really pumps me up," and I think that would be the anime influence. I grew up with DBZ. More recently, I watched JoJo. That Aura part, I think that was just something I saw in my mind when I heard the music. There's a lot of arpeggios going on in there, so you gotta have rapid punches to match those beats. And Aura is like one of the only moves I know that has that many, beats and notes crammed into a small segment.
It was also on my stream when we were watching that, and I was a voice chat. And when that came out, everyone was like, "Oh no, 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 no!"
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I really just tried to follow the music for like the specific like fight moves.
Yeah.
And then we
I'm
get
gonna flip this over to. Oop.
I was gonna say,
Sorry,
then
you
we
were
get
saying?
to my part, and everything slows down again.
Yeah, I have to say that ending shot with your animation has to be the most. That's a solid desktop background. Because there's so much going on. It looked so just outstanding. Just that idea of lightning striking literally everywhere, while
Yeah.
there's just a fight going on right in the middle. That was, I don't know.
It didn't look like that
but I
on
wanted-
my Flash document.
Yeah, I saw your reaction. You animated the fight itself, but you didn't see all the effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, Oxob, if you intend on making your own version of the fight, or if you're just gonna let this animation stand on its own.
I'm gonna let it stand on its own. I feel like this
Alright.
story is canon for Oxob now as well.
Okay, so you're gonna use this to further your Oxob story.
Yeah, and I feel like the process of this animation being made has like developed Oxob's character so much. Like we were talking back and forth a lot about how Oxob is as a character and such.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's both changed a lot and like gotten a much deeper personality and story and everything. And like he's gotten interesting now. Before he was just, a blue guy fighting. And now he's like, you can see he has emotions, he has struggles and everything. So I thought that was really awesome, and I want to build upon that.
Well,
Okay.
that's great to hear because I feel like that's like our collaborative process. I feel like that's how it should be, where
Yeah.
each of our stories are kind of like canon, and we're just building off of each other
Yeah, I
rather
feel like
than making. Yeah.
we've gotten to that point now with so many characters now in like GildedGuy's universe that it feels. I don't want to like change anything of that. I just want to build on that and make it better.
Yeah, a coherent coherency, that is something I feel like is really important that
Yeah.
people want. They don't want to have to try to put together too many pieces.
Yeah,
They want something that
Okay.
feels like canon.
yeah. And I feel like if I were to
Right,
make my
right.
own battle, I'd have to like figure out some way for them to fight again. But it doesn't feel like they need to fight again. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry. A lot of GildedGuy, a lot of your viewers, I'm sure, are wondering, like, do you have an ending planned for GildedGuy's story, or this series, if I can call it that, or are you just going until maybe you find an ending?
So I guess this relates to that green star thing, which is like pretty foreshadowed as like the ultimate end goal. To be honest, I personally don't exactly know what the green star means. it's more a representation of a certain feeling that I have about art, maybe about life. So, for an ending, it's inevitable that all stories need to have some sort of ending. So I do have one.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple endings, like potential endings planned, depending on how the next couple stories go. So, as like a game dev, like I try to model the story almost like a game that has multiple endings, and depending on how certain decisions are made throughout the next couple of years, I'll arrive at a certain ending, and I feel like that's the natural way to tell the story. So,
All right.
yeah.
Do you have like a specific number of how many more stories you plan on doing?
Um, yeah, I'm thinking 10 is a nice round
Did I
number.
disconnect?
So
Okay.
that would
Yeah.
be 4 more stories.
Yeah, so we got 4 more.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah,
Do you have any idea what you want to do after that?
I have ideas, but I feel like that's perhaps projecting too far into the future.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
I cut out for a bit.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah, we
All
can
right.
hear
You're
you.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I went out to several platforms to ask people if they had any questions for the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you Ishizaki wants to know how you both came up with your characters.
Who should start?
Oxob, you want to go first? Yeah.
I mean, I always liked cyborgs, so when I was making my RSG character, I just thought of, what would be cool as a cyborg, but I didn't want to like make his whole arms into mechanical because I felt like then I would have to animate them that way. When it's just the hands, it's such a small detail.
Mm.
And then the name, it's just my old RuneScape account.
So, do you want to say anything else about your character?
The name is my old RuneScape account.
Aha.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And how about you, GildedGuy?
Like Oxob, my character has roots in the most epic MMORPG of all time, RuneScape. So I think when I started, going online, I think this was like middle schoolish. That's when online games started getting way more popular. Everybody needs to come up with like a username and like a password and stuff. So I started. For some reason, I was attracted to this gold character aesthetic, and that would be like my running theme amongst me and my friends. Like one friend would be like wearing the steel armor or wanted to be a mage. I wanted to be the gold armor dude, because in RuneScape that's one of the like those high level armor tiers. So that was like my end goal, have the gilded armor. Once I stopped playing RuneScape, like you kind of get attached to a certain online persona. So I just carried that gilded guy like username throughout all my other online games. So so when I was playing Halo or even different genres, still keep with that gilded guy. And eventually that kind of crossed over into when I started joining in with like stick figure community, and I feel like that was a good kind of power to have. It's like elemental. It's like so it's a metal. Most RHGs and duelists have like one kind of element that they want to have a special power for: fire, ice, water. So I wanted to do something a little bit unique. So mine would just be like gold metal, and I think you can represent a stick figure as a gold metal dude if you just draw the whole guy as yellow.
Yeah.
So it still looks like a stick figure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where GildedGuy kind of came up from.
Guess what armor I have?
Okay.
Mithril?
Yeah.
Yeah, that blue armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Jeroodles wants to know, GildedGuy, what lesson did you learn from this, if any?
Oh, yeah. So actually, yesterday I just finished writing the blog post about my thoughts on the animation. So there was a lot to kind of like unpack, since it's like a 9-month project. It's almost like multiple miniature like assignments and jobs. So you kind of learn a lot of different things. One thing that I learned was to properly, well, talking from the production side, was to like properly estimate my time. So before I had a very optimistic production schedule. I was hoping to finish the animation by December 2019, and then when December came by, I had to like write this very sorrowful blog post to all the patrons saying, "Oh, guys, I have to push it back till spring because I messed up on the estimation." And I think that's just because of that, the cause of that is just being too optimistic, like hoping that you'll like do more animation, even though you're behind, and not just sucking it up and accepting that you're actually being slower than you actually are. So there's like a bit of humbleness that you need to have when estimating a project.
Okay.
Maybe more emotionally, what I learned. I think bearing a burden is like, I guess, a theme in the animation. So once again, going with that suck it up mentality, is that bad things is like just kind of accepting that bad things will happen no matter what you do. It can be rough doing like art as a career when you compare it to other more stable careers, but even more stable careers have their issues. So it's almost like an aspect of life to just bear that burden. I guess that would be another thing I learned.
All right. Now let me think here. I'm actually almost running out of questions.
We're going through it quick.
Yeah, we are. I don't know, is there anything that you kind of want to mention about the story? Like maybe something that viewers don't notice all too often?
I
Or do you
like,
think they kind of pick up
think they
on
got
everything?
Yeah, I'm surprised that people can like pick up on the subtle cues and themes that I inserted in the scenes. Maybe if it's like a small expression here and there, people kind of pick up on it and want to share their thoughts on it. That's very fulfilling and pretty cool. I don't know. Is there anything you guys thought about the animation that?
Well, I am confused about the whole Bog situation. Like, is Bog a part of Gilded Guy now?
So that was left vague. So the stuff I leave vague, most of the time I leave vague on purpose because I myself don't exactly know like the concrete answer, if that makes any sense. Once again, a lot of animation is kind of like just feeling my way through it. So if I'm not sure if Bog is completely gone, it's because, well, if you guys are not sure if Bog is completely gone, it's because I'm not sure that he's completely gone.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like the way
So
I
you
saw
kind of
it.
leave it open. Sorry.
Well, the way I saw it was like that Bog was just like a memory because you often just saw him as a reflection or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that like it was the memory that was haunting him, sort of. And then, or well, memory like battle scar memory, sort of. And then when he put the gloves on, he finally let go of that, sort of.
Yeah, I wanted to make it kind of feel like an exorcism almost.
Yeah.
For that putting on the glove scene. Yeah, I understand that it can be a little bit confusing, and as just me not knowing the answer.
That's interesting that you kind of leave the answer open so that you can do what you will in the future if you want to take that somewhere else.
Yeah, I think there's definitely still more to explore.
Huh.
That is cool.
All right. Do you plan on doing another kind of you follow this pattern almost where it's like you do a fight story and then a relatively calm story with just a main lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you going to do another kind of lesson animation after
Uh,
this one, or are you going to go straight to another fight?
I don't know. The animation's been out for like a week, and people ask me like, "Oh, what's next?" And
Yeah, yeah.
and that can be a little bit pressuring. I I have two. I say I had three, now I have two potential ideas for the next animation, and I'm really split on which to pick because, and they contrast each other fairly starkly. One of them would be like an origin story animation, so that would go in line with the
Oh,
pattern of like not a non-fight, but it's still
Yeah.
like a story. And the next one would be story 7, which would be a fight. And so it's like that pick between more action oriented versus something that's a bit more chill and reflective. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. You just have to wait and see, I guess.
all right.
I think it's a kind of cool theme to like have one battle animation and then like one more laid back, or what do you call it?
It's like a slice of life kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
battle again and then something else.
It also helps flex my animation skills. So
Yeah.
like animating fight after fight after fight, you get kind of tired of it. So perhaps more character acting is due for the near future.
All right. Aside from your story animated series, do you plan on doing like anything else to the same extent? Like whether it be game development, because I know you did Falcon Master, but I'm aware that's not really in production anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So I I watch a lot of YouTube videos about art and like tips and tricks, philosophy of art, and I came across one quote that said like, as an artist, you have, if you're a good artist, you have one good idea, and if you're a great artist, you have two good ideas. And I think Gilded Guy might be my one good idea that I kind of need to take all the way at this point in my life. So I don't really have
So,
any intention of branching aside from like my stories. Only when it's done, then can I like start from a clean slate and try something new.
all right. So you're planning on just finishing the 10 stories of Gilded Guy and then seeing what you're gonna do next.
Yeah, and I think the format really
Okay.
gives good flexibility too, because I try to like switch it up within the stories, like in style, subject matter. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a lot of fun just exploring that music video animation format. I think it's something I'm very comfortable with, and I can kind of just flex different, like explore within that format.
I
Mm-hmm.
have a question. If
Mhm.
you got to the point where you had a studio or whatever, would you make a animated series for Gilded Guy?
Oh, yeah, that's always the dream, right? To
Yeah.
have your own series and just be the showrunner of stuff.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from interviews is that it's a lot different from just being a plain old animator though. So you're doing a lot more communication. You're almost like a boss in a way where
Yeah.
you're not the one making the specific art decisions. You're always communicating your vision to people.
Yeah.
I heard that a director's job all day is just to answer questions. People are just constantly coming to you like, how should we do that? And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could get into the flow of doing something like that. So although it's alluring, right now I'm pretty comfortable just kind of leading through, just like doing rough animation and key animation. But if things blow up, maybe it's inevitable that you have to, take on the role of a communicator rather than just a plain old artist.
Yeah, because you're still like creating anyways. It's just in a very different way.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like there.
Go ahead.
I feel like there would still be some way to challenge that kind of mindset, like instead of just becoming the communicator. Like, yeah, there would be a lot more of that, but I'm sure you could still find a large footing of keeping your role as like the main animator or whatever kind of role you want to keep.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think almost being the showrunner is almost like a pure creation at that point where you're just thinking of ideas instead of being the one that has to execute them. So I'd say it is probably even more taxing creatively than doing the grunt work, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm dry out of questions now.
Oh, okay.
Did not think that we would be running through these so quickly.
Well, I can shoot some questions back at you guys.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, sure. Feel free.
Uh, Oxob, so you're kind of juggling doing work for Alan and also trying to do your own personal projects. Is there a plan for trying to commit more time towards your personal stuff, or do you have it pretty stable right now?
I don't know. Like it's hard because I also work at the summertime. I work at the cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
and I also do arm wrestling. Like I have
Yeah.
a lot of things that I do. So, like whenever I have my own project, they take forever because work on them like not even once a week sometimes. And then I get like a spurt when I work for a couple of days, and then it's just laying there. But
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if I would want to pursue it like full time, working on my own stuff. Because like for right now, it feels like a hobby, and if I were doing it for full time, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much because I would see it as a job instead.
Mm.
So I like having like a job and then having a hobby that I can do on my free time.
Well, you recently hit 100K subscribers, so
Yeah,
that possibility is becoming a bit more real, with every subscriber that comes your way.
yeah. I don't know what I want to do in the future, really. We'll see what happens.
Uh, what about you, Haitana? Uh, you're working on
Uh,
collabs and stuff like that.
yeah. At the
How's that
moment,
going along?
I'm just focusing on college and taking on animation and hosting collaborations as a big hobby right now. But I'm focusing on becoming a machinist. And if YouTube blows up and that becomes a sustainable platform for animators, then I'll move on to there. But as of now, I'm fine with just taking a machining job and then just taking animation as a side hobby.
I think that's a wise thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, because how YouTube is right now, it's not too welcoming to animators. And I
Not at
guess
all.
on Twitch, if you gain enough of a following, you can sustain off of donations and subscriptions. But where YouTube stands right now, it's I wouldn't be anywhere near comfortable with just hopping on there, even if I had like 100,000.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you. 100,000 uh, is is a great milestone, but there's still
Oh yeah,
the reality
there's
of
still a lot of
monetization.
yeah, there's still a lot of potential
Yeah.
and opportunity when you hit that kind of milestone. But I mean, for people who want to focus on quality content and want to spend months on a single project, YouTube may not be the best place to grow that
Yeah.
until you gain like millions to 10 millions of subscribers.
But like if I were to change the type of content I was making, like if I made story time animations, maybe I would be
Hmm.
able to do it for a living, but I don't know if I would enjoy that. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about it, but I'm not a very interesting person in that way.
I don't know. You could tell some pretty compelling arm wrestling stories. I'd love to hear those.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I could say my life is interesting, but me talking about it, I'm not good at making it interesting.
Okay, so trying to build that storytelling skill. Okay.
Like, I'm not trying right now, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah, but like, if you wanted to, you would have to focus on building that skill.
Yeah. I mean, you
Okay.
can hear me talking. Like, I'm trying to sound energetic and stuff, and I'm still, like, monotone and boring.
Oh no, I like that. I like the chill vibe. I think that's something people love,
Yeah.
especially for streamers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some of them are a bit too energetic for me, but I kind of like that. You know, radio smooth. You know, jazzy. You know.
Yeah, but that's what you want,
vibe.
like, in the background when you're working or when you're trying to sleep or something.
I think what you mentioned about story time. I think I too would like to at least see what it's like to make a story time animation, because you see it everywhere. It's almost like a vlog format.
Yeah,
and
it's really interesting to watch.
yeah, they can be fun. Yeah. Speaking of YouTube, is there like any particular channels or cool content that you guys been watching recently? Since we're all kind of stuck inside, you know, upping our.
I've been watching
content.
GildedGuy versus Oxob a lot.
Oh, I heard about that one.
I think all of us have been. I've been active in a lot more voice chats rather than I have been watching YouTube. But I do watch Unis Honest.
Oh, what's that?
Unis Honest it's like a collab channel between Markiplier and Crane Gameplays.
Oh, okay.
Or just Mark and Ethan. And it's a channel where they're going to delete it after a year. To kind of emphasize, because Unis Honest means 1 year in Latin, apparently. So they're trying to kind of send the message of death, trying to make it a little more possible for people to handle without being so sensitive.
Oh, just like things are kind of temporary, you know, not everything lasts forever.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
like that's the entire point of the channel. So they're going to delete it after a year of its initial upload.
I bet that format is very freeing for them as creators. They don't have to worry about the long term.
Yeah. They've done a lot of interesting and also questionable stuff, but it's been really entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Just the idea of like you create something and it's just gone. It's not meant to be there forever. Makes you do a lot more spontaneous, you know, random stuff.
Oh yeah. Do you have any channels that you like to watch?
I don't watch too much YouTube, but I think I search for like audiobooks and like documentary stuff just to listen to in the background. So
I do that too.
I definitely treat it like a giant audiobook playlist. People upload tons of stuff up there that like 4-hour videos where you can just, you know, hit play and, you know, get to work.
I've been watching boxing matches from like the old days.
Ooh.
Like
So,
from back
When did you start your boxing career?
boxing?
Or not boxing, the wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
No, arm wrestling, yeah.
2006. That's when I started. So, how many years is that? 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I think 14.
Or well, this autumn it will be 14 years.
Well, yeah.
So that's
You're champion in your weight class, right?
Yes.
That's world champion?
Yes.
That's a pretty big deal. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, took me 13 years.
oh my gosh. Is that you have to like defend the title kind of thing? I'm not familiar with like the rules there.
I mean, I mean, you still like have the title as world champion from 2019, but it's still like I'm the champion in that weight class now, and I I would be defending it in the next competition, which we'll see if it happens in September. It might not.
Oh yeah, because the whole COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been awesome though, because it would be in Orlando. So
Over
it
here
would
in the
have been-
States. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would
No.
get to go there for once. But I've only been in Europe.
How's quarantine been going for you guys?
No difference for me, pretty much.
Same here.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty much all the. Yeah.
I haven't been doing any arm wrestling practice. That's the difference.
Yeah, I haven't been going to school actively as much because everything's online now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I gained weight.
My hair's longer.
We're becoming cavemen.
Well, speak for yourselves. I got a haircut recently.
So did I.
Damn.
All right. Anything else that you guys want to mention? Because we're nearing the end of this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't prepared anything for this, so
Is there anything you guys got going? Anything you want to announce?
not really.
I'd like to announce my vacation.
Oh yeah,
Feel
I have.
free, dude. You've deserved it.
Thanks.
I have one question. Is Gilded Nuts canon?
Oh,
I really hope it is.
if it's not canon now, I'm sure there's a way to write the story to make it like it happened. You know.
Yeah, just pull some cross-dimensional.
Just like in the
Like-
background, you see
BS
see
answer,
Gilded
yeah.
Nuts, you know.
I want to imagine
Mhm.
that it's between the Green-Eyed Cowboy and GildedGuy versus Oxob.
Oh,
Like when you
that's
see he's on vacation and you see coconuts on the drawing.
yeah.
Oh.
Tropical beach vacation gone wrong.
Yeah.
What was Gilded Nuts, anyways? By the way,
It was like,
like
a
what
vent.
happened?
It was like a venting animation, you know. Maybe I need to do
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those. Story 5 was just pretty brutal in terms of like the amount of quality I had to put in and work. So, oh no, that was venting from Falco Master actually.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And I hadn't done any like cartoony animation for like an entire year. It was just, you know, that visual novel style and just writing. So sometimes your inner animator needs to be expressed, and mine's took the form of a coconut.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Once again, it runs along the theme of like kind of those throwaway animations where it's very spontaneous. I think people's best work can come from that, where you don't really care too much.
I have a lot of
Oh, yeah.
projects like that, like Firewall Brawl, that was only doing what I felt like doing at the moment.
Yeah, it turned out great.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Searching for questions. Hang on. Oh right, you won that Twitch animation contest.
Yes, that happened. Yeah.
That God, you did a reaction video on that, but all we got to really see was your reaction. Like, what was the aftermath? I guess is my question.
Oh, okay. So that was like 3 years ago. So,
Oh yeah.
but I still remember it because it was. I think like at the time, I don't think my work had gotten that much attention from like the judge. Like the judging panel was filled with people I respected and knew of. So it's like a dream to have somebody that like you watched in middle school. For me, it was like a year after I replayed his Flash stuff all the time in middle school, and I thought it was like the funniest stuff out there. His awesome series. So to hear him talk about like the specifics of my animation, like how I got the sync right, that was very thrilling. Same with hearing from like Ross and Jaden and Jazza. It was really cool. So after after it was like all said and done, I think I ended my stream, and then the the VP of Twitch like tweeted out my stream and said, "Oh, he's doing a celebration live stream right now," and I had just ended. I was like, "Oh, god damn it!"
It's like, oh, that reminds me of when it was like my birthday stream, and you raided me when I was playing Minecraft, and then I had to leave immediately afterward.
The timing is so perfect, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like sometimes you're just not, you're not ready for that kind of like exposure and success. And perhaps if there's any like advice there, it's to always try to like to not expect it, but always be ready. So don't just like call it quits when things don't look like they're shaping up, because it just comes out of nowhere. It's almost impossible to prepare for, but I think people should like try their best if they're pursuing that.
All right. Anything else before we close up here?
Nothing I can think of.
Not really.
All right.
It's been
Then
an
I think
hour,
that's gonna. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. So thank you everyone for watching. Feel free to watch the Gilded Guy versus Bog animation if you haven't, and check out the rest of his stuff. Link will be in the description or in the iCard in the corner of the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And check out Oxob as well. He's a really talented animator himself. And if you want more backstory on his character, if you came from Gilded Guy's animation, check out his Oxob origins, any of that stuff. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, all right.
Dana.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Thank y'all.
No
Really
problem.
cool.
Thank you for dropping by.
Bye.
And thank you everyone for watching. And I'll see you all in the next podcast. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.